So hello and welcome back to another video. Now I've come out in some pretty horrible conditions today to try for a bass for an hour or so. Now we got a wind which is absolutely howling. We've just got a spot of rain, but hopefully the rain's going to hold out. Now the wind, you can probably hear it, it's gusting pretty hard. We got some pretty big swell today as well. Now there's some rollers coming in here. I plan on standing on one of these rocks here, which every now and then it's getting flooded, so I'm just going to take my time, be careful. Always be careful when you're out lure fishing, especially when the weather's a little bit hairy. Now I've just got my light gear with me today. I was tempted to bring my heavy rod. I hope I'm not going to regret it, but I'm going to start by throwing a soft plastic lure and hopefully we can find fish. So I've come to a different area of what I'd normally start at this spot, but purely because there's a lot of people out today. I've seen 4 different people, bass anglers, and they're all fishing the sort of the same area, so I thought I'd come out the way, try this little pocket here. As you can see, pretty wild conditions, great conditions for bass. But you definitely get that feeling if you're going to get one, it may be a bigger one, and few and far between, but you might get a better stamp of fish here. I thought that was a follow then, but that was just a rock under the water. Yeah, it's always surprising how the little bass will even still be in the surf and in the current. It really is quite amazing what they can, when they can hold against the tide and swim against it for their size. It really is quite impressive. Oh, yep, I'm on. Just as we were saying about small bass, guy bolted down there. Oh no, that's actually not a bad fish. Bloody hell. Oh, he's off. He's just popped off. Am I still recording? I am. So that's the issue you have. That's the 3rd or 4th cast I've had here, and I hooked that fish. But because I'm so high up and he's flapping around like anything, he spat the hook. Well, that's a great sign, that. And that's funny, as I was just saying about the smaller fish not being scared of the tide and the current, it goes to show that that they really aren't at all. That took me a little bit by surprise. Next time I'm going to have to get down to those rocks pretty quickly and hope that there's no big waves coming as I'm trying to land a fish. Well, that one was going berserk when it came close in. But nice to know they're here. Now can we land one? Bloody hell, I've just cast straight on top of a fish, and I'm not joking. That was absolutely insane, and that was so close to the shore. Mental. God, they're going some. It's only a small fish, but they're bloody lively. Come here. Right. Check out how vibrant that thing is. Look at the blues in that. That's pretty phenomenal. That's absolutely insane. Now I'm going to set the other camera up because I need to show you where I cast for that. But that was insane. Now I know this happens a lot. I've never had it happen that fast. I just cast right next to a rock which is 5 meters from the shore. As soon as that lure hit the water, my rope just started flexing like that. Bang, 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 bang. That fucking landed on top of that fish. It was mental. It's actually not a bad size, to be fair. Not a beast, obviously. Check that out. He's lively. That's a great fish, that. Obviously no beast, about £2. But what I mean by great is this is the reason we come bass fishing. To catch a bass in the winter that is that silver, has those blues and silvers in the fins, it's just mental, it's insane. Absolutely phenomenal. That's why we come bass fishing. Hopefully there's some more about. Let's get him back in the water. So maybe the fact there's other people fishing that area I'd normally go to is going to work in my favour. Now there's obviously a few fish here at the moment. Catching one, losing one, there must be a few about, so I'm not going to waste any time, I'm going to get back in there. Now the lure I'm using, by the way, is a white Savage Gear sand eel, 23 grams, great for these conditions. Check out those waves. Let's go get wet. Bloody hell. Now that is the exact reason you don't want to be anywhere near there. If you're trying to land a fish and a wave's coming like that, let the fish go. Let it come off. Now literally all I did when I caught that fish, that clump of rocks there, I just flicked the lure like that. And as soon as it hit the water, I was on. I literally couldn't believe it. Now the theory behind that was, when it's this rough, the bass are going to be so close in, because if they're feeding, which they, well, probably obviously are, everything is getting churned up in here. Every time a wave crashes, every time it sucks back out, it's tearing everything out, you know, or pretty much everything out. Everything that can't hold itself against the flow of the tide and the flow of the water. Anything, any dead crustaceans down there, absolutely anything. Bass are always looking for an easy meal. Always looking for an easy meal. So they're going to try and preserve energy and just run the outskirts of the water. Now that's not to say you won't pick them up. Straight in front of me is just sand, and that's not to say you won't pick them up there as well. They're going to be swimming around, but a lot of the time they are very close in. I can't believe how feisty they are as well. Definitely got some energy in them today. It's fired up from that fizz in the water. That wind is really picking up now. I did say it was going to pick up around 3 o'clock, but it's a little earlier than that. It's about 2:30, I think. So they got it pretty right. Now I've clipped on a Pachinko 140. I'm just going to have a few casts with this, see if I can pick one up off the top, and if not, I'm going to move along and keep fishing the edges. Obviously the windier it gets, the harder it's going to be to fish a surface lure properly. That actually made me jump. Tiny little wrasse, no bigger than the lure, just took the lure right in here, but fell off as I was lifting it up. Even the wrasse are feeding in weather like this. So that tide's dropped a little bit here now. I've tried Savage Gear sand eel again. Had about 10-15 casts with the surface lure and nothing. Just had a little 6-inch wrasse take the lure close in. Now I'm pretty sure the bass have moved on from here. I'd have been catching, if they were still lingering here feeding in this area, I'd have been catching them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head further that way. I've just noticed those guys are still down that area. There's one exact rock which I can get onto now, the tide's low enough, but I don't want to go onto it while there's people there, because even though I put videos up and people can tell where you are, sometimes they can't tell the little hot pockets. And if those guys are there, I just don't really want to see them see me fishing there, and then next time I come here there's 10 other people in. So I'm going to head over that way, and I'm just going to find the little sandy bay areas with rock close in, which has got a bit of shelter with the wind behind me, where obviously there's no other anglers. I'll have a few flicks there and we'll see how it goes. So I've just come over to this area now to fling out a surface lure. Now this is right over a little causeway, so there's a huge rip in the tide here. I'm just going to slowly work that surface lure in and see if anything wants to pop out and take it. Now if you do get a fish take here, it's going to swing you round to the left hand side, so it's going to go with the flow of the tide. I've actually hooked a couple of bass in this area before, but they've always come off, and it's probably because of that reason. Now what I'm going to try and do is ping it right in that little pocket there behind those rocks, and hopefully it's going to drift out and I can work it back in. So right there. I'm not going to stay in this little area for long. I'll just give it 10 casts I think, and then I'm going to head back over, and there's a little like horseshoe I'll probably throw a plastic into there, see if we can maybe find one more. I've just seen a bloody seal jump out of the water. I wonder if he'll come up again. There he is, look, right there. Just drifted in the tide here, see? Staring straight at me. Right, we'll give it one final go in this little spot. We'll put an IMA hound glide on, and we'll soon see if there's any fish about. Hopefully my bag's going to stay dry there. I've got the wind directly behind me here, so I can get a nice long cast on there. Not that you need it, but just gives you self-confidence really that you're covering as much ground as possible. But 9 times out of 10, if you get a take, it will be relatively close in. Now this lure is going to be kicking up a load of rattle and vibration in the water, so lots of attractant for any fish that are nearby. Because that water is a little bit murky, having that extra vibration, the extra attractant, can certainly help sometimes. But if the fish aren't there, it doesn't matter what you throw at them. It is absolutely howling. Look at the lure there. Look at the conditions. I'm literally nearly getting blown off this rock. It's definitely picked up. That might be my cue to go. I don't fancy getting soaking wet in those black clouds. Right, now the conditions have just deteriorated pretty badly. It did give this It's just come a little earlier than what they predicted, but the rain's come now as well. That's it for me. I'm going to head off. I'm going to head back over the reef and back towards my car. So that's the end of this session. Not a blinder, but the way that fish took was really quite phenomenal. I absolutely love it when things like that happen, and it just goes to show, just by flicking a lure out, it doesn't have to be far, you don't have to cast far. In conditions like this, when it's rough, the water's murky, the tide's sucking back out, the fish most of the time will be close in. So yeah, a great little session. I think I've been in about an hour and a half, so it's an hour and a half well spent. Thank you very much for watching this video. It's going to be the last one of 2023. I'm going to be out doing plenty in 2024. As always, loads of lure fishing for bass, but I'll be targeting, I can barely breathe in the wind. I'll be targeting a lot of other species as well. So whilst I'm sat here getting soaked, I hope you've enjoyed this video in your nice warm lounge. See you in 2024. Thank you very much for watching my videos throughout the whole entire year. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next year for some more. So thanks very much. I'll see you on the next one.